I had two events, Michael, this week with the Muslim the community, and I think it's very, very sad, the fear in that community today because of what they've been hearing coming out of Washington. So I am hopeful that people will join me and just continue to talk about it.
Good morning, Congresswoman Fudge, to your distinguished panel, to the audience. My name is William Fambrough. I am a property owner, a resident, taxpayer, a voter in the city of East Cleveland, Ohio. Currently, our city is experiencing a handicap in the legislative branch of government, in the council. There's a situation where the council has moved to properly appoint per our charter 2 vacant seats that came vacant because of recalls. Recently, we recalled the mayor and the president of council. What has happened is that the mayor has issued a press release, and I have one for you, that states he would then make these 2 appointments. And we don't feel that that's correct. At any rate, it has completely handicapped the legislative branch of government. The voters of the city of East Cleveland are being disenfranchised by all of this because the will of the voters is being interrupted. The mayor has in filling these seats, also there's a threat, a police threat, that if the 2 gentlemen who were appointed properly by the council would come to council meetings, they would be arrested. That's what the rumor is stating. And it's a situation that is only going to be more contentious and worse. And we need intervention in terms of our elected officials to get this solved.
Certainly, I think that a lot of this is probably not something I can do a lot about, but I am more than happy to meet with the council, with residents. My scheduler and executive Linda Matthews is right here. We will schedule it. I'd be happy to do it because we have to do something about these Cleveland. It's just what we've seen to us. So, if you make sure to talk to them, I'm more than willing to put together a community meeting in East Cleveland. I'm willing to talk to your elected officials. You just tell me what you think is going to work best.
I appreciate that so much.
Thank you.
One of your aides has my card,
okay, great.
And my information, and I look forward to your comments so we can solve this.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
My name's Kabir. I'm coming up 2 things of a statement and a question. The first statement is that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, and it's probably the best thing for me. I was denied my right to vote. I was registered, and this is a massive thing that is taking place in the city. I mean, it's astounding. Like when I said it, people were saying it like it was just known. I actually went. I have the email of the director of the Board of Elections sent me an apology saying, because I raised the fuss, but a lot of people weren't speaking at all. And it's really massive how many people were denied their right to vote in this past election. That's one. 2 is, I want to thank you for what you did with the agricultural, the hoop houses in Cleveland. I wanted to know, because we had a meeting, I'm starting because I feel like that locally grown is the best. It also is going to help. It's preventative care when you're talking about medicine and that. It's also feeding the youth, because a lot of them, I don't see a reason why anybody should be hungry with all of this land and everything. With the plots behind Morgan Theater on Buckeye, and I'm starting some gardens there, and I was wondering how I've already got everything situated. Talked to the guy at the U.S.A. I was just wondering if that program is still going to be.
It is. Ariella, where's Ariella? You can talk about the. I'm going to have Ariella from my staff talk to you about the hoop houses, and we're going to have Michael talk about the voting. Don't leave. Stay up here so we make sure she's giving you Ariella's card. Yes, we're going to do everything we can to keep their program, even though the new administration doesn't believe that urban gardening is really farming. No, they don't.
So thank you for. No. Thank you for mentioning the voter purge issue. This is a problem that a lot of people were not aware of, that we filed litigation over last year. Our Secretary of State here in Ohio has, over a number of years, purged hundreds of thousands of eligible voters from the rolls. Simply because they hadn't shown up for a few elections. These are eligible voters who should have been able to vote, and they were removed. And many were never given any kind of notification that they were removed, and like you, may have shown up at their polling place and were turned away. When we became aware of the issue, we filed litigation last year, and right before the election, we were able to get a federal court to say that those people should be able to cast a ballot. But it came right before the election, so a lot of people who were impacted weren't aware. We did have several thousand people across the state of Ohio who had been purged, who did show up, who did cast their ballot. But I'm very sorry to say that we just received word a few weeks ago that Secretary of State Houston appealed that decision to the United States Supreme Court. So we are filing our opposition to that appeal right now. Challenge Secretary Houston's illegal voter purging problem because, of course, we want to get people registered to vote, as the woman said earlier, but we have thousands of people all across the state of Ohio who think that they're registered and are being purged off the rolls and should be allowed to vote.
Let me just also say this. The Secretary of State's position is on the ballot next year.
I'm Donna Lipson from Shaker Heights. I'm just going to change the subject a little bit. I'm very concerned about climate change and our energy policy. I'm very afraid that if we don't deal with these issues now, then some of these other issues aren't even going to matter. Earlier this month, conservatives George Shultz and James Baker published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal describing a market-based proposal for putting a price on carbon, which includes paying a dividend of about $2,000 per year to a family of 4. Particularly in view of how weird the weather is getting, would you please tell us if you would support a proposal for a fee on carbon paid out as a dividend to the American people?
Let me say two things. One is, you should be afraid. Because right now we have an administration and a majority who do not believe in science. They do not believe in climate change. I'm a strong supporter. I'd have to look at the language. Do we have one?
I think we have language. We're evaluating natural resources.
Okay.
We're looking at
You see, I had to talk to Ms. Beck.
We're looking at it with the Natural Resources Committee data to see what they want to do with it.
All right, she's saying we're looking at it with the Natural Resources Committee dance, but I support making sure that we leave a nation that is environmentally safe to our young people.
But will you look at the op-ed editorial?
Oh, absolutely.
And
I will.
will you think about a fee on carbon?
Absolutely, I will. As a matter of fact, if you remember, that's one of the things President Obama tried to do almost 8 years